Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Why I love gold. This particular bar is a Pamp Swiss 100 gram 4/9 fine gold bar. This was purchased quite some time ago, and it represents a lot of things. Gold does in many different areas of our lives, and depending on where in the world you live, it may represent something different. But by and large, overall, we all understand that gold is something of value and substance. But its uses are quite fascinating, and I think that's one reason why I love gold so much, is the various different uses that you can find that gold is intertwined in our everyday lives. Though not as many uses and doesn't have the versatility of silver, its uses are quite unique. Just like silver, it can be used as a conductor, and though silver is the best conductor of electricity as a conduit, gold is the least reactive metal, making it a more stable conductor. In fact, in space, NASA has used gold, and other nations as well, for their space programs because of its anti-radiation properties. Its density allows reflectivity from radiation and the like, making it a perfect metal and stable to use for those applications. Not only in space, but also in computing here on Earth. It's used many times within our CPUs and the like. And in fact, there's people that recycle gold from CPUs and the connectors therein, and be able to recycle it to be extracted so that it can be preserved because of the great value that gold holds. It also has some medical properties as well, like silver. So it's very, very versatile in that aspect, but it's very expensive as well. And that was what prohibits, I think, gold from being used more often in those applications. But nonetheless, because of the nature of what it is, gold is being the least reactive of the precious metals out there. It is quite attractive in that form. But I think what's fascinating about gold more than anything else is its versatility and its use to showcase art. You know, there's plenty of pieces out there, from paintings to decorative elements on furniture or edifices and architecture, where gold leaf is stretched paper thin, even, the fraction of paper thin, to be able to be put as gold leaf on different items such as furniture, architectural elements, and the like. And it's quite fascinating indeed how it can be used. The ancient Egyptians used gold in many different applications as such, including to decorate the tombs of their dead. King Tut's tomb comes to mind, and even a treatment on mummies. It's quite fascinating and amazing how gold has been used throughout history in that aspect. For most of us here in this community, we recognize gold as money. And really, it is money. And the first application of gold, really, as money, can be seen back in ancient Mesopotamia or ancient Turkey in Lydia, where gold was mixed with silver to create electrum in a natural form. This natural alloy made up our first coinage before they really knew how to separate those metals. But since then, gold was used in coins and a store of wealth and beauty and status in those ancient civilizations. Fascinating indeed. Gold, the metal of kings, the status of wealth for millennia. Amazing metal indeed in that regard, and how it's been used. And Archaeologists find gold elements from so long ago, and they're exactly preserved in the state that they were in those days because gold is non-reactive. And I think that's one of the best properties that we can find, that we can enjoy about gold, is the fact that it is not reactive. You know, there are those of us who purchase coins that have copper spots on them and bullion products that have that. Well, that's because of imperfections of treatments of the dyes and the like that get on the gold, but it is not reflective of the gold itself, pun intended. Gold is an amazing metal in that regard. Non-reactive. Beautiful. Beautiful indeed, gold is. It's very dense. It is, and when you hold this in your hand, you understand it as a thing of substance. It is twice as dense as silver, and just amazingly heavy to hold in your hand. It's really, really quite fascinating. You know when you're holding gold in your hand. There's only one metal that comes close to it in density, and that's tungsten, which has very close to the same density as gold, but has much different properties than gold. It's rigid. It is not ductile like gold is. Fascinating indeed. So gold has been used as money and a store of wealth and status and preservation throughout history. And even today, remarkably, especially in Western civilization, the United States has the largest gold reserves of any other nation in the world by far. But many nations are accumulating more and more of it as the faith in the dollar is being lost, or they're wanting to get away from the dollar as a reserve currency, some of these other nations around the world. But aside from that, aside from any currency, nations around the world are preserving their wealth in their own central banks. And here's the thing about gold. Even though it is expensive, we can accumulate it here in this community or in any community anywhere around the world. And you can buy it in as small a size as a half a gram, or even smaller if you so desire. And then you have a little bit of wealth in your hands. You can buy it in many different sizes, from a half a gram to over a kilo if you so desire. And there's different forms. Gold, an amazing metal, indeed. And I don't think it will ever be replaced as what it is for that store of wealth, because of the history behind gold as that store of wealth. The other thing about gold is not only in its physical state and being stable, but also its stability in price as a wealth preserver. Silver is much more volatile in that regard, though it is a store of wealth as well, and also money. Silver's multiple uses, more widespread in applications, is seen just as much as a commodity nowadays as it is money. Whereas gold is treasured and used for things of beauty in jewelry and the like. It is stored, it is treasured, it is held, it is coveted. And because of that nature, its demand in that regard is very high. So therefore, that coupled with the history of what gold is as money, it maintains its price or its value over time. It is a much more stable form of wealth, a hedge against economic instability, the ultimate hedge. And even though silver is as well, you're more likely to see the biggest pillar, the strongest pillar in preservation of wealth is by all means gold, the ultimate store of wealth. An amazing precious metal it is. The ultimate. You know, even though in Eastern cultures such as India and China, where this is treasured culturally, where people wore their wealth around their necks, and uses dowries and the like for marriage ceremonies as stores of wealth from generation to generation. As a culture, in India, per capita, they hold more gold than any other nation around the world by far. But China and all the nations in the East understand the value of gold, and they treasure it as such. But even here in the West, from everything from certain plans, financial plans, or certain levels of membership, you have what's known as the bronze standard, the silver standard, and the gold standard. And gold is seen pretty much as the best of the best. So when you have the gold standard in any plan or application, you know you're dealing with the best of the best. And then you also see that with gold, the measure of it with these different plans is the foundation for our currency in the United States and around the world for so long. We were once on a gold standard, and that we're not there anymore, which makes our currency much more prone to corruption and instability and inflation and the like, because we don't have that hard standard of gold before. But maybe one day we'll get back there, at least to some form of it. But we're not holding our breath, for sure. But nonetheless, there it is, gold, the ultimate. The ultimate as a store of wealth. There is gold, and so we will enjoy it as such. And I hope you enjoyed this video and understand why I love gold. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude, y'all, for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.